The true story of Hulu's Murdaugh, Death in the Family is more twisted than fiction, and this is what has happened to everyone connected to the crimes. In 2021, shocking news broke that Maggie Murdaugh and Paul Murdaugh, of the Southern legal dynasty, were murdered in cold blood. The investigation uncovered not only the culprit behind the murders but a laundry list of financial and drug crimes at the hands of Alex Murdaugh and his associates. Due to the family's previous pedigree, the story of the Murdaugh murders has been recounted in documentaries, podcasts, and fictionalizations. Hulu's Murdaugh, Death in the Family weaves together the various threads of the story, creating a cohesive albeit dramatized version of the story. It's a story of privilege, wealth, and cruelty, which feels poignant at the time of its release. Ultimately, the true crime drama will leave viewers wondering what really happened to everyone involved, and here's the truth. Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were murdered by Alex Murdaugh. On June 7, 2021, Alex Murdaugh called the police to report his wife and son's murders. Margaret Murdaugh was 52 at the time of her death, and her son Paul was 22. He claimed he wasn't home at the time of the murders, visiting his mother. This detail would doom him in court. When police arrived, the bodies were found near the dog kennels on the Murdaugh family property. According to NBC News, they found Paul had been shot with a 12-gauge shotgun in the chest and shoulder, then in the head. Similarly, Alex shot Margaret in the abdomen and leg with a rifle before shooting her in the head. Out of respect for the victims, I will not go into further details, but the scene was described as pretty brutal during the trial. Alex Murdaugh was the primary victim, and he was arrested for the murders by July 2022. Alex Murdaugh was found guilty of both murders and many financial crimes. In 2023, Alex Murdaugh spent 6 weeks on trial for the murder of Margaret, Maggie Murdaugh and Paul Murdaugh. The circumstantial evidence stacked up really quickly against Alex. This included gunshot residue on his clothing from the night of the crime, data from his cell phone and car, uncovered lies to the police, Alex's police interview, witness tampering, and the missing family guns. Most damningly, a Snapchat video on Paul's phone confirmed Alex was at the scene of the crime just minutes before the estimated time of death, via BBC. Alex Murdaugh even took the stand to try to explain away his lies. However, he wasn't convincing. The jury found him guilty of both murders, and he was sentenced to life without parole on both counts. The murders opened the floodgates, unearthing a whole slew of other crimes, including embezzlement, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and money laundering. He faced 101 indictments, but he made a plea agreement. Ultimately, he agreed to plead guilty if they dropped it down to 22 charges, via United States Attorney's Office. Buster Murdaugh has defended his father and was implicated in a boating accident. Buster Murdaugh was nowhere near the Murdaugh home at the time of the murders and had no known involvement in planning or executing the act. However, he had to deal with the fallout as the son of Alex and Maggie Murdaugh and the brother of Paul Murdaugh. Although he remained silent for a long time, he finally spoke about the murders and his father in the docuseries The Fall of the House of Murdaugh. He agreed that his father had psychopathic traits, but he still doubted that Alex Murdaugh killed Maggie and Paul. Separate from murders, Buster Murdaugh was implicated in the boating accident and the death of Mallory Beach, for which Paul was under investigation at the time of his death. Paul allegedly used Buster's ID to buy the alcohol. Ultimately, the family reached a settlement with the Beach family, via The Guardian. Alex's brothers, Randy and John Marvin Murdaugh, struggle with not knowing the truth. When Alex Murdaugh went on trial for the murders of Maggie and Paul, his brother John Marvin Murdaugh defended him on the witness stand. He recounted how he was the person to clean up Paul's remains after the murder, and he vowed to find the real killer, via People. However, Randy Murdaugh, Alex's other brother, isn't so sure that Alex didn't commit the murders. Randy told the New York Times that Alex is definitely a serial liar and thief. He doesn't know whether his brother killed Paul and Maggie, though. He says it's hard to reconcile the jury's verdict with the image of his brother pulling the trigger. Jerry Rivers and Spencer Roberts are serving prison sentences for their financial and drug crimes. The prevailing theory, presented by the prosecution, about why Alex Murdaugh killed his wife and son is to hide his financial crimes. However, it actually brought more attention to them. Consequently, Alex and his associates have been brought down. Jerry Rivers and Spencer Roberts were involved in Alex Murdaugh's white-collar crimes. Both accomplices have been found guilty of their crimes, and they're serving prison sentences. Because of a plea deal, Jerry Rivers will spend between 5 and 20 years behind bars, via Greenville News. Meanwhile, Spencer Roberts is serving an 8-year and a 6-year sentence concurrently, via WRDW. Curtis Edward Smith was indicted for Murdaugh's assisted suicide fraud and hasn't gone to trial yet. There are so many shocking twists in the Murdaugh murders case, but one of the most surprising was the fact that Alex Murdaugh allegedly plotted with his cousin, Curtis Edward Smith, to kill him. He reportedly shot Murdaugh in the side of the face in an assisted suicide plot. Alex admitted to planning it, thinking Buster wouldn't get insurance money if Alex died by suicide, via the New York Times. Buster was indicted, but he hasn't gone to trial as of the time of Murdaugh, death in the family's release. Court clerk Rebecca Hill, who worked the Murdaugh case, has been charged with perjury. Since Alex Murdaugh was found guilty of murder, he has continually appealed his conviction. His most recent assertion is that court clerk Rebecca Hill, who worked the case, tried to influence jurors to vote guilty since she was writing a book about the murders. While there hasn't been any solid evidence about this, she was charged with 4 other crimes related to the case, according to the Associated Press. She was charged with obstruction of justice and perjury for showing a reporter sealed photographs, then lying to cover up her actions. Additionally, she faces 2 counts of misconduct for accepting bonuses and promoting her book about the Murdaugh murders through a public office. She awaits trial for these charges at the time of the Hulu original show's release. Judge Clifton Newman retired and serves as a mediator and professor. Judge Clifton Newman presided over Alex Murdaugh's murder case, but he has since retired from that position because of an age limit. He has now transitioned into a new career, according to South Carolina Public Radio. He is now a mediator for JAMS, an alternative dispute resolution service. Additionally, he has become a professor at the University of South Carolina, teaching a course on trial advocacy. Despite the career change, he will always be recognized as the judge who presided over the Murdaugh case and chastised him during sentencing. Understandably, he gets fictionalized in shows like Murdaugh, Death in the Family.